What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course for another Formwork Friday, and today I actually have my bag for a Formwork Friday because today I'm going to be trying to teach you guys what I do to play disc golf in the wind. And while throwing a disc with a tailwind is amazing and really fun, you're not always going to have a tailwind. Most of the time, courses are set up to actually have headwind drives to challenge players. So how do you throw into a headwind? Let's get into it. Now, obviously, you could do just take your most blatantly overstable disc and rip it, and the wind really can't do much to this proton deflector. If I throw a proton deflector on anhyzer, it is going to do that shot 100% of the time. It's never going to be turned over and never let come back by the wind. I also don't play in 100-mile-an-hour winds. Today it's 15 to 20, gusting to 30 to 40, so it is a little bit more intense than normal. And with this year being one of the windiest years I've ever played disc golf in, it's good to know what to do. So while taking your most overstable disc and ripping it can work, there are ways to play and throw your more trusted discs well. Let's throw the method. This is my straight method. Let's see what this does. Early release into a tree. Let's go with pyro instead. Now you may be saying to yourself, that looked like the straightest pyro shot. That's because it's a head left to right wind. So the wind is trying to push disc this way. So if I throw something that's mildly overstable, I can get it to basically hold pretty straight with a minor finish at the end, even if it's one of my more overstable discs, because the wind is trying to push it that way. If I throw something a little bit more understable though, this is a Buzz SS. What happens to a Buzz SS? It's going to turn. This wind is going to make it turn to the right. So when you throw your more understable discs in the wind, you have to account for that. No, it's wanting to turn to the right. So either put it on a very aggressive amount of hyzer or plan for it. I know it's wanting to drift, so I'm going to aim to the left. And I grip lock it. Let's go with the peach instead. We're trying to actually hit this gap in between the two trees coming out this way so that I can ride around to the right. So I can either chuck a stable disc straight over and it's gonna stay pretty straight because, well, wind, or you can play the wind. And while that's not always the smartest decision, I'm going to teach you how to play the wind. This hole we have a right to left crosswind. So the wind is pushing off of here, that way. How do we play into that kind of wind? We could throw something so overstable and hope that it's going to dump. But if we were to do that, that crossways wind is going to catch the angle of the disc and literally push it. I'm going to throw essentially my Firebird, the Thought Space Omen. I'm going to throw it out here and hope that I can crash in, but the wind's going to shove it. And now I'm not in the fairway. I want to be in the fairway. I don't want to be on the left side. I want to be in the middle of the fairway. How do I get in the middle of the fairway? Well, with the right to left wind, you can actually do something that's really, really fun to do. You're gonna take your most understable fairway driver, and you're gonna throw it on hyzer, and you're not gonna pump it. You're just gonna nice and soft and easy, and let the wind try to push it while it tries to fight the wind. This is the Proton straight line. It is windy. It's basically, I'm gonna read. Your POV is a little bit lower now. I'm sorry, but I had to angle the tripod. This is basically a heat or sidewinder numbers from Streamline. I like it, especially for this type of shot, because you can get very, very easy distance. And of course, the wind decided to stop as soon as I threw it. Let's go. Okay, it's starting to pick back up. So we'll go Eagle L. Not quite as understable, but still get a good amount of flip out of this. A little bit of an early release on that one, but it was probably difficult to see. But as it tried to flip, the wind was trying to push it left, and it was trying to flip and trying to go right. So it ends up being a super, super straight shot. Like, it doesn't really veer right or left at all. Now it will at the end when it decides to actually fade and the wind carries it. So now I have to go fish it out of the lake. I should probably get on that. You know, in all those old war movies and they're like, you have to know and understand the enemy in order to beat the enemy? That's what playing in the wind is. In order to beat the unrelenting force of nature that is always going to be stronger than you, you have to understand what it is, what it's doing specifically to your discs. When discs are flying through the air, you're throwing them at a certain rate of speed, certain miles per hour, and a certain number of RPMs, or revolutions per minute. So if I were to throw, let's just pick 50, because adding and subtracting from 50 is very easy. If I were to throw a 50 mile an hour backhand and the wind is blowing into my face at 10 miles an hour, the disc implies that as I just threw it 60 miles an hour. So the disc is going to act like you're suddenly a big arm. But if the wind is gusting at 40 miles an hour and I threw it at 50 miles an hour, the disc thinks that it just got thrown at 90 miles an hour. So it's going to react very differently. So discs that are normally pretty stable and pretty straight, this one in calm, this Mint Disc Diamondback, I have trouble getting it to flip up and turn over when it's calm out. But with this intense wind, I bet you I can hyzer flip it to a turn on this fairway. And why am I able to do that? Because the wind is blowing in my face. So no one understand your enemy. No one understand what they're trying to do to your discs. They're trying to overpower them. So depending on which direction they're coming from, you have to take that into account. This wind is pretty much a straight headwind. It's a little bit coming off the lake, but it's pretty much just directly in our faces. So I can throw a stable disc, not an overstable disc, but a stable disc, harden, and a tiny bit of hyzer, and this amount of wind is going to flip it up, and then the wind coming off the lake is going to get under it and it's going to turn it. So I can trustfully throw a disc and know that I'm not even worrying about going in the lake. I'm worrying about it turning over too fast because of what the wind is doing, because I understand how wind affects my discs. Let's try one more, because I really want to throw the mayhem on this hole. I need more hyzer or less wind for that disc on this hole. That's probably a great disc to throw in the calm on this hole. As far as distance drivers go, this one might actually be perfect because it does turn a little bit, but not quite as fast as the mayhem. Oh yeah, gorgeous. when you learn the abilities, that's why you'll see me out here, and it doesn't really matter the conditions I'm playing in, because you'll never know what conditions you'll end up being playing in. So I want to know what my discs do in all conditions. So the more I'm playing, the more confidence I'm going to get with that disc. And I threw a couple of high-powered shots, and 2 of them I was fairly confident exactly where they were going. The Mayhem was the only one I was worried was a little bit too unstable for the wind. So know the wind, know what it's trying to do to your discs, and then play the wind. I was understanding it was going to turn my discs over. I want to stay high up right on this fairway, not down left. So I threw a disc that would turn over because of the headwind, but not turn and burn because of the headwind. So it's very, very minor ideas or very minor differences in calm weather can make a huge difference as soon as there's wind. The last thing that we definitely need to make sure we address before we're done with this video is spin, and I don't mean this spin. This is cool and it may work, especially with a tailwind, but I'm really talking more about this spin. Obviously, parachute is probably not the best disc to throw into a stiff headwind, and neither is the spin because of their understability. But because of its understability, I know it's going to turn over, so I can throw it left. Okay, maybe not that nose up. But spinning the disc adds the gyroscopic effect to keep it level. The more spin you have and the more clean the release can be, the more level in flight the disc can come out, and the more spin it's going to get. The more flutter, the more wobble, the more different angles there are for the wind to grab onto and just whip the disc over. So be as smooth, controlled, and as spinny as possible. Work on the release points, make on just being as smooth, controlled, as ever loving possible. And as you add the spin, the speed will come. To get the spin on my distance drivers, I have to throw them harder, or I cannot get enough speed to make them do what they're supposed to do. I can't get them enough spin to make them do what they're supposed to do unless I throw them at a higher speed. As I go up in arm speed, my spin rate also increases. So as I just naturally put more spin on the disc, I'm also naturally putting more speed on the disc. So if I try to throw, let's say, a mid-range with driver power and driver amount of spin, I can very easily overpower it. But with the right disc, you can hit it just so perfectly clean. That's why you have to figure out your discs. If you have the right disc, you can hit it absolutely perfect, that it's still gonna hold its line even with the wind. For me, I think that might be this method. Give it some anhyzer and then watch it hold. Know your discs, figure out your discs, and not just know your discs in a wide open field. Go to a course and throw them into as much headwind as you possibly can. And then here's where having a tripod and a camera might help, because you might lose your discs. But go figure out how your discs are going to react to the wind that you're about to play in before you play in it. And then you'll have much more chance of being very controlled and very confident on the course, even when there's 40-mile-an-hour gusts. Hopefully you guys enjoy content like this. Hopefully you found this helpful. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment that down below as well. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber-only giveaways. Definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, see you out on the course.